Every nigga is a star. 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 Who will remind that you and I and every nigga is a star.
Hello, people. Welcome back to the movie review series by Radio Club DAIICT. I hope you guys are doing well and taking good care of yourselves. It is a tough time out there, but I'm pretty sure it'll pass. Going along with the theme of this month, Pride, I'll be reviewing the movie Moonlight in today's episode. Barry Jenkins' Moonlight is a coming-of-age story of Chiron, a black boy who takes on the journey of self-discovery and finding his true identity. This involves coming to terms with his homosexuality and existing in an environment that is not conducive to his well-being. We witness Chiron's story through years of growing up and the challenges and difficulties he faces. Moonlight chooses not to show us the bright side of accepting the LGBTQ, but instead, it shows us the perils of not accepting one. There are two important aspects of this film that we must understand before we delve deeper. First, as opposed to many LGBTQ films and stories out there, Moonlight is not just a love story between two people. It is much more than that. It is a journey about discovering oneself. Sure, there is a love story involved, and finding love and acceptance is the objective of our protagonist, but there is much more at play. Second, although Moonlight tells the story of a black child, it could be anyone's story. It could be yours, your friends, your colleagues, anyone. Having a black protagonist just adds another layer of complexity, but doesn't take away the universality of the message. The most important reason why Moonlight works is because of the way it is structured. The film is divided into three almost equal acts, where each act depicts a single stage in Chiron's life. Each act tells the story of how Chiron is developing and interacting with the society in ways that are relevant to that particular stage. Each act shows us a different person and tells us that we evolve as years pass by. The thoughts, internal conflicts, and actions at each stage are unique. Hence, they are named accordingly too. The first act, named Little, is about Chiron's childhood, where he does not understand the world and is filled with self-doubts and frustration. Chiron takes on the world as it presents itself, without really questioning his existence and role. Hence, it is called Little, which is what people usually call him. The second act, Chiron, is about an adolescent Chiron who begins exploring and better understanding himself. He realizes his homosexual orientation and understands how it positions him in the eyes of the society. This is the only act where Chiron is the most of himself and chooses to live with his choices. It is all about braving the people and not caving under. But this is a cruel world and it is difficult to hold up. This brings us to the third act, Black, where an adult Chiron has now transformed into a stereotypical black man, weathered by the brutality of the society. What the three acts also tell us is that our identities, of which sexual orientation is one important part, are a function of our circumstances and social interactions. These aspects of a person evolve with events and are not static as commonly misunderstood. If you have never been in a position where you question your sexuality, you might not have experienced the stages of such a conflict and the unique struggle associated with each that the people who face this go through. Moonlight does a very good job of presenting this evolution of a person's sexuality meticulously through these three acts. Our society is built upon past institutions that had conceived certain traditions and customs, categorizing what is to be considered normal. Heterosexuality is one of those traits. So, questioning your heterosexuality in the practical world leads to personal struggles. More difficult is the process of fitting in the society once you come to terms with an orientation that is non-conformal for some. Chiron suffers through these throughout the three stages. As people begin to realize that he has homosexual tendencies, they view him in a different light. So much so that he is eventually forced to fall to stereotypes in the third act. Acceptance by society or the idea of fitting in is the key here. And had society accepted Chiron and embraced him for who he was, he could have led a much better life. How does Moonlight document this struggle? Other than Chiron's personal experiences, it tells the story of Chiron and Kevin, who grew up together in the same neighborhood and also go to the same school. Kevin is sympathetic to Chiron's plight since childhood. In the second act, Chiron and Kevin enter a secret relationship but keep it under the wraps for obvious reasons. They are afraid of accepting this relationship to the extent that Kevin beats up Chiron in front of everyone as a part of a game challenge. Kevin does not stand up to everyone in the fear of letting the cat out of the bag. Now, Kevin is not to be completely blamed for this because, in a way, it is the society that dictates or forces such moves on his part. Another important aspect of Chiron's story is parenthood and mentoring. Chiron lives with his drug-addicted mother, Paula, played by Naomi Harris, without his father. Engulfed by her drug addictions, she does not provide any emotional support to her son. She knows about Chiron's homosexuality from early on and the emotional support he needs growing up, but even she chooses to evade that responsibility of a parent. Juan, played by Mahershala Ali, becomes Chiron's mentor and fills the void of a father figure in his life. He introduces Chiron to the world and urges him to discover himself. The film sets up Juan as someone who initiates Chiron's actual life. They say that the current generation nurtures the next, but in a community that exists on the margins of society, this can lead to grave consequences. The relationship between Chiron, Juan, and Paula is that of a vicious cycle. Juan is a drug dealer, although he's a good man as an individual. He sells drugs to Paula, which fuels her addiction and neglect of Chiron. This neglect leaves Chiron alone and Juan needs to help him grow. So, Juan is in a way both helping and destroying Chiron's life. The valors of living in such a marginalized community leads to the community funding of its own demise. And things do not end here. In fact, Chiron becomes the next Juan. When he grows up, he is also a tough man who leads a business of drugs, just like Juan. The pressures of the outside world and the difficulties of leading a normal life get people involved in such businesses. Society blames such people for all the bad doing, but it forgets the role it played in leaving them no option in the first place. Talking about other aspects, Moonlight is led by a powerful all-black cast. Mahershala Ali won an Oscar for his role of Juan. 3 different actors portray the role of Chiron and Kevin in 3 acts. Each actor does a perfect job of introducing us to Chiron as a new person, but also carries over his aura from the past. There are numerous shots in silence, such as those with muted dialogue and long deep stares into the camera. These allow us to sympathize with the character's life and ponder over what is going on in their head. The camera is often positioned between the actors conversing so that the viewers can feel to be a part of the conversation too. There is fluid camera movement between characters to denote bonding and shaky movements to denote physical struggle. The film applies the chopped and screwed technique in its classical music to make it more soulful. Moonlight and water are two important motifs in Moonlight. First of all, what is a motif? A motif is a recurring idea that appears in a pattern at different points in the story to reinforce a particular theme. Here, Moonlight appears as an empowering force that dissolves the duplicity and masks a person wears to fit in. The movie also gets its name from this. In Moonlight, black boys look blue. The color blue denotes the true personal self that you are, and the color black shows what you turn yourself into for surviving in this society. Chiron has all the heartfelt, emotional revealing moments under the moonlight. Water is also portrayed as something that washes away all the pain and gloom from a person. One teaching Chiron how to swim is Chiron's first lesson for learning to live. It is as if the sea washes away the past of Chiron and asks him to make a new start. Whenever Chiron feels desperate, he takes a bath. He dips his face in the water to soothe his injuries and pain. Chiron and Kevin have their first intimate physical encounter on a beach. All these beats reinstate the value of water as a cleansing and freeing agent. One particular scene that is worth breaking down is the diner scene in the third act. In this scene, Chiron and Kevin reconnect years after the events in school. Chiron is initially reluctant to open up to Kevin, but as the scene unfolds, both get comfortable in each other's company. Chiron looks towards the diner door and has the option of running away, but he chooses not to. This shows that Chiron is finally ready to lose his mask and has resolved his flaw. As time passes, both the characters start sharing about their life, opening up layer by layer like peels coming off a vegetable. The scene continues to Kevin's home, where they share their most intimate secrets. Finally, they both accept themselves as they are and seem ready to have a valuable relationship. While Moonlight gets almost everything right on spot, Mr. Jenkins could have probably done a little more with the third act. Moonlight's third act is mainly just about resolution. There could have been more obstacles and internal conflicts to resolve before Chiron reaches that emotional stage of being capable of mending his relationship and forming new ones. Because for a man who has been through so much, it is not easy to forgive and develop a healthy relationship. But no complaints there. With the material at hand, Mr. Jenkins creates a powerful visceral piece of narrative storytelling through the visual medium with Moonlight. In conclusion, we can attach a lot of superlatives and throw around a bunch of adjectives to describe how great Moonlight is. We can also talk about all the awards it won, including the Oscar for Best Picture. But the best way to appreciate this film is by watching it, and then introspecting our own lives and asking the important questions. Because this is what Chiron wants you to do after watching his story. This brings us to the end of the movie review. While Moonlight may not be the film that leaves you with a warm fuzzy feeling, it definitely gives a lot to ponder about. This amazing review is written by Visaj Shah. This episode is produced by Parth, Katrodiya, and I am RJ Ishaan signing off. Radio Club DAIICT. Music that keeps you alive.